good tape. You know what I love to do? The tape. I like to see how far it'll go before it breaks.
Yeah.
And the farther it goes, the better the tape is.
Nowadays, I'm pretty sure they actually tell you though on
They
the
do.
packaging, like
So,
how far.
I never knew that. I was at Home Depot the other day,
Yeah.
and I saw one. It said 18-foot breaking streak. I was like, holy cow, 18 foot? It might not have been 8 foot.
That's crazy.
18. It might have been like 8, but it's crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
woo.
You could
There's
stick
some
it out
geese
there.
just flew over.
Really?
Hey, dude, early geese season. Geese season.
Yes.
Susan?
Early.
Early geese season is coming up, like next month.
I know. It's
And there's
here.
a bunch of them flying over here.
Well, that's good. We'll run some traffic on them. We just
Dude,
got to get some decoys.
I know. I guarantee you we can run some traffic out here. There's like, what, 15 of them right there? Look behind you. Oh, maybe
yeah.
10, 12.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Going back to a little roost hole.
Yeah, but
back
there's
over
like
there?
4 or 5 groups that fly over every day.
So they're separate groups then, huh?
Separate groups. So it's easier to hunt.
Yes.
But
way
I
easier.
have seen them out here land in this field eating old wheat seed. And if they plant wheat again, maybe we'll get some green wheat they can hunt off of.
See that
Ooh.
wheat though? The wheat is like right now that field.
Yeah.
It's got that khaki kind of color to it.
Khaki color.
Khaki color instead of the green color that you typically see. You know, when it's a luscious green wheat field. You know,
Yeah.
I guess that's winter wheat, huh?
Winter wheat.
That's
Yeah.
winter wheat.
This is winter
is-
wheat. It's just been cut, so it's dead.
Okay, so that's why you got the khaki color.
Yeah, you know what's funny? The word khaki. Like
Yeah.
when you see it, I never knew what that meant. I was like, what the hell is this saying? And everyone's like, oh, it's khaki. I was like, the color's khaki. Like, it's color khaki. But like, but what is that? Like kayak? I don't know. I never knew it. And then Lisa's like, it's khaki. I was like, I know the color, but I mean, what's that word right beside it? Welcome back to the Outdoor Talk Podcast. We are up here live. And it's
Action.
Live action, yes, sir. It's a good day. I'm feeling pumped. I'm ready
Hey.
for this podcast. We missed a couple days. Or we missed last week.
But see, all this does, it just increases the audience's attention, their
Yeah.
suspense to just tune into the next episode. And that right there, sir,
I know it.
they're waiting on it. They're
I
ready
know.
for us.
I hope y'all are ready for this one because last week life got in the way. We got busy. It's just part of it, you know.
Work, you're building the house, you
I
got
know.
that going on.
Yep.
You're trying to get that shed that you found in the woods out at
The
your
old
camp.
shed.
Mhm.
We're gonna turn it into a little cabin. I can't say what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I could. No, we're not.
It's
gonna say
okay.
it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I don't
yeah.
know where he's going with that either.
I mean, and then you're working, you're busy. You're working out of town, a couple states over, actually.
Yeah.
Like Arkansas. We're
it's
over here in
just
Texas.
2 hours away, but you drive there 2 hours, you can drive back 2 hours. That's 4 hours of your day.
I
You
know.
9-hour workday,
You're
8-hour
right.
workday.
How do you like it? You like out there paving some concrete, paving asphalt?
concrete, yes sir. No, yeah, it's fun. I much rather be pouring concrete than laying asphalt though.
Really?
Yes,
What's the-
hands
like-
down without a doubt.
I know there's different tools for each one,
Mhm.
and I've poured concrete. I've never laid asphalt.
Yeah.
My brother worked for the asphalt company,
Right.
so I know he knows exactly what he's doing. But
Yeah.
so, what makes it better? Like, which one do you like? Why do you like it better the other way?
I like concrete because I know it better.
Really?
I've been around asphalt way longer though.
Really?
But like concrete, it's continuously hands on.
Yeah.
Asphalt, as soon as you pave it, if it looks good,
It's
the only thing you have to do is just roll it with the big roller, and that's it.
Interesting. So you
Yeah.
like to stay busy.
Basically, it's just busy work. Like when let's say it's like a 10x10, like, and it's a broom finish little porch or whatever to put your grill on.
Mm-hmm.
You get out there, you take your forms, you form everything up, draw your string lines, make sure the forms are straight. You put your stakes in it. Then if there's any concrete attached to the section that you're about to lay concrete on, you dial in, you lay your rebar down, you tie them up, you put a little concrete, they call them rebar seats.
Oh yeah,
little
just
tour.
keeps the spacing off the ground.
Gives
Yeah.
it a little elevation so you don't have to pull it up when you're pouring it.
Yeah, nice.
You lay it with the come along, and then that's when the real
come
work
along,
starts.
just dragging that concrete across there.
Hey, and it's tough, dude. Depending on how big of a section you're pouring, that come along, we're working out, man.
Would you rather use the come along, or you rather have a pump truck and like get it exactly where you want the concrete? Or do you still have to use them both?
You still have, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. For now, the pump trucks are cool though, but they're kind of scary too. Like I feel like the first time it was this past spring we got to see one, and I've never seen one like
Yeah.
actually work
All right.
or work behind one, I guess. And I was just afraid that this sucker was just gonna like start going haywire in that arm, because it's like, man, it goes super tall and it expands out.
Well, they got a lot of reach on them. Mm-hmm. They can go up over buildings, like whatever.
And when that concrete's actually being, sucked through that big tube, that big long pipe there, it'll start swinging. It's like an elephant trunk.
You gotta hang on to
it. Start swinging. Yeah, and I was like, man, this thing's about to explode.
Kind of like a fire
something.
hose. You ever seen somebody?
Yeah.
That's like doesn't have a lot of body weight on them, and they're holding that fire hose, and they just get like
go
blown
flying,
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I can see that. I mean, I've laid concrete, but I've never used a pump truck or nothing like that. Yeah. We just had a truck come in, dump it in one spot, and we were just taking the come-alongs and just dragging it.
Yeah.
Just dragging it. And we didn't have a big slab. We had a little porch on our cabin.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a pretty cool experience. I'm not no expert.
Hey, the grade work too is fun too. Yeah. If you can get behind the skid steer, somebody that's really intelligent with using a big machine.
Now, I can
like
do that all day.
That's cool too.
I say I can. People might listen that know me. They're like, "No, you can't do that shit."
Come on now, come on.
But I can do it.
Hey, you can do it if you have to. You can do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can do anything.
Yeah, there it is.
If I don't know I get on YouTube and I learn.
You're a DIY guy, anyways. This is what we've been talking about. Nelson much rather go to Home Depot and buy all the equipment that it takes to get the job done, rather
100%.
than paying somebody else to come in and do it.
100%. I like doing things myself. I like to learn my equipment, and I don't know. When you do it yourself, you learn your equipment more, and you feel more confident in the product that you just built.
Speaking of this,
whatever you just did,
exactly. But speaking of that, just right there. Nelson here recently, the last couple of weeks, he's been trying to perfect his bow.
Yes, sir.
And that's when his shot comes out of the actual release itself. He wants that arrow straight.
Yep.
He wants it on the money.
Bullet hole through some paper.
So about 2 weeks ago, he was shooting, his target. He had a piece of paper lined up, I think taped on his target, actually.
No, I had a piece. I just had a cardboard box.
Oh, that's what it was.
And I cut the hole out on both sides, so it has a hole through it,
There
and
I
just taped a piece of paper. Easy breezy, quick and easy.
To make sure the arrow though is perfectly centered up when he shoots it. It just makes that perfect circle instead of
I was just making a paper tune deal.
Fishtailing.
Fishtailing. Yeah, you want your arrow where the tip goes in, and then you want your nock to track perfectly straight through. So whatever your tip goes in, you want your nock to come right behind that hole.
Right.
And if it doesn't, you can get a nock right, a nock left, nock high, nock low, different things, and then whatever tear you get is how you go about tuning it. So like you might put some twists in some strings, take some twists out of a string. You might move your rest a little bit. There's all different things. You might change your point weight, your spine of your arrow. There's a lot of different things you can do.
Oh, yeah.
And it just takes time. So it took me a little while to do it, and I figured out I had a knock right tear, and I could not get that sucker out. And I figured out I need to put some twist in my string.
Right.
Well, actually, I had to put some twist in the string, and then I had to swap a shim on my top hat system on a Matthews bow. So that's what I did, and it is dialed.
You took it, though, to the pro shop, though.
I did not. I called the pro shop.
You called them. That's what it.
I did.
Right.
I called the pro shop, and they were. Now, it was an hour before closing, and I called the guy, and I was like, "Hey, I got a Matthews bow. I need to swap out the top hat system on this sucker, and quick and easy. I watched a YouTube video on it.
Doesn't take very long.
No, I could do it myself, real quick. And he's like, "Well, man, if I do that," I said, "I know exactly about it. But if I do that, I gotta retune the bow. I gotta put in the bow press, change the top hats, retune it, and all that good stuff." And he's like, he said, "Just to put in the bow press, it's gonna cost you $50." And I was like, "All right," just kind of going along with it. And he's like, "Well, if you want to drop it off tonight, we're an hour before closing, then you can come pick it up one day next week." And I was like, "Nah."
Not happening.
I got on my phone right then that second. I'm not kidding you. I was on my driveway about to pull out, and I was like, "Nah." Got on my phone, sat there in the driveway, and ordered a bow press.
Did you order it from Amazon?
No, I ordered on.
You didn't?
I ordered on Last Chance Archery's website.
Okay.
And I got the Easy Green, which is like a DIY bow press.
Sitting right next to it.
Yeah, it's like the entry level. It's a great bow press. It does exactly what you want it to do, and there's some add-ons you can do to it. Sitting right here beside us on our multi-purpose workstation.
There it is. The podcast station /
the layer.
Yes, you might as well call it the layer.
I know.
This place is sick.
Yeah. Well,
he's got huge deer mounts, shoulder mounts everywhere.
Well, one day when we start videoing podcasts, y'all be able to see all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But right now we're in the process of building a house. But back to the bow press.
Sorry.
I ordered that sucker, and I guarantee it come in faster than the guy could have got my bow done. But
it's good, though. It's good.
It is. And now I know my equipment ins and outs. I know exactly how to work on it. It took me 2 minutes. to fix that bow.
Really?
2 minutes, like,
Oh, my word.
if that. I'm not kidding you. And walked outside, set my little paper tune up, my little cardboard box with a piece of paper on the front of it, cut out, shot that sucker, and it was like money, and I just moved my rest just a slight little bit to the movement of the rest, and it's dialed
in.
Smoked it.
There it is.
Hey, last night, let's
backtrack. Tell him what you did last night. He was in the
the bow was in tune. Okay, I'm a little scatterbrained today, boys, but hang in there with me. So I got the bow in tune, and I got the itch to go shoot some hogs. Well, I've been out there at the cabin baiting some hogs in, and Saturday night, so last night, I went out there, or the night before, last night, went out there. No hogs come in, but I had some corn thieves come in.
Oh,
the old corn thieves.
Old corn thieves.
They got to be managed too. Be great. Take out some predators. Save some turkey eggs, turkey nests. But I let that arrow fly, and I smoked that old coon. Smoked him down. But and it's so funny because my cousin Gibson, he was down the trail a ways at another feeder, and he had a coon come out at the same time.
Really?
And he Snapchatted me like almost right after I shot mine. He's like, he sent me a Snapchat of his coon running off. And he smoked one too. But we ended up doing a little predator management that night, shoot some coons. We got a bunch on this year on camera. Every feeder I've got, or every little corn station that I'm trying to get some inventory of my bucks and my deer, there's always coons. There's like 4 or 5 each spot. And I'm not talking about like a big area.
You're stealing your corn,
like,
man. You can't let that happen.
Yeah,
Either take action or let it happen.
I know.
That's my quote of the day.
Yep. And we haven't seen any turkeys last year either, so
probably why.
It could be. There's a bunch of corn thieves.
Skunks though.
Oh yeah,
they'll do the same thing. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh yeah. Well, we used to have chickens over here in the barn, and skunks killed every single one of them. And we get more, and the skunks get in there and kill them all. So I knew that.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
We'll see a lot, but a lot of people. Right. But a lot of people don't understand how much of a predator that they actually are.
Yeah,
the skunks.
for sure.
That is down there in West Texas when we're taking pheasant hunters out. If we see a skunk, and of course if it's on our land, we're told to take action. Yeah, and shoot them. You're like, man. I mean, it's fun. It's good target practice with your shotgun.
Oh yeah.
Chasing a little skunk
you gotta get
around.
Close to the shotgun, you might get sprayed.
Hey, but they have
downwind or upwind.
Just away from that sprayer too can spray good.
Oh, dude,
talk about a concrete chuck, man. That thing can go a long way.
Did you know on a skunk, if you keep their tail down, they can't spray. They have to be able to lift their tail up to spray. So like, if you catch a skunk and you just hold their tail underneath them, they can't spray. Or like you catch them in a live trap, and they can't, if you have a live trap,
you realize how sharp their teeth are though, and then claws on top of that.
Okay, well if you have a live trap where they can't lift their tail up,
perfect, yeah,
they can't spray. So you can just pick that live trap up.
Oh, money.
They actually make skunk traps. They're like a PVC pipe.
Really?
And they can get inside there, but they just can't lift their tail up, so they can't spray. They use them around schools and stuff because they always burrow underneath schools and like get in the flower beds. Little fun fact for you.
That's crazy.
I know.
Little rabbit hole. Sorry about this. We apologize in advance.
Talk about bow presses and skunks.
Hey, let me tell you though, skunks though, if you see them on your land, you need to do some little research about them. They can affect a lot. Same thing with hogs too.
Yep.
And that's the I guess one of the main reasons why you're out there.
Yep.
You're trying to take action and not only fill your cooler, your freezer up with some good hog meat, but you're taking action and hopefully giving them deer a rest, man, because I know you have a ton of hogs.
Yeah, we have a ton of hogs out there, and they're a nuisance. There's a bunch of farm fields around us, and we have permission on these guys' properties to shoot their hogs, and they do so much damage. But they also come to our feeders, and they tear up our feeders, and like we're trying to get good inventory of our deer and stuff, but the hogs just come in, just mow the feeders down, eat all our corn, which we're also kind of targeting the hogs so we can have fun to shoot them.
Yeah.
Great target practice.
It's open season all year for them.
Year round, and they taste great.
A lot of people don't know that either.
I know. The other day, we went out there, last weekend actually. We went out, and we were filling up some feeders or topping them off, and it was like me, Keaton, Gibson. There's a bunch of us. We had 2 side-by-sides. We're just riding around, having a good time. And I was like, hey, let's go down this feeder over here, and I guarantee you the hogs come in. The wind's perfect. Let's just sit in the side-by-side and pull up in the tall grass and just sit there and wait. And they're like, all right, whatever. And they're just hanging out, just kind of being loud on TikTok and whatever. Sure enough, I was like, feeder goes off at 8:30. Feeder went off. 5 minutes later, big old hog come out. And I was like, hey, hog. And everybody's like, no. And they look up, and there's a hog walking right towards that feeder. And he stopped probably about, I don't know, he's probably 100 yards away, maybe 120. And we all lined up, and we shot that sucker.
All at the same time?
Yep, 3 of us.
Oh, nice.
I
He
know.
wasn't going nowhere.
Oh no, he didn't drop.
Really?
It's kind of like, okay, my gun didn't jam at all. I shot twice. I shot once. First off, Gibson counted it down, and it was me, Rance, and Keaton with the guns. We shot. Rance's second shot his gun jammed. Keaton's gun had a misfire, and my
off
gun
the initial
shot.
Oh man!
So when I looked at my scope and I shot, and me and Rance shot at the same time, the first two shots, that hog jumped up in the air and like did like a little donut. And when he's running off, I shot like 2 more times while he's running, and then Rance shot at him after he got his gun unjammed, and Keaton was still over there working on his. The hog ran in the woods about 20 yards. So we found that sucker, and then we were already cooking that night. We already had steaks marinating.
There you go.
So I went over there and cut the back straps out of that sucker, seasoned them up. And you talking about good. It's a little tough because I didn't get age it a little bit. I like to set hog meat in a cooler, just like deer meat, for like a week or so on ice and just change out the water.
Right.
But that hog was so flavorful. I'm not kidding. You couldn't tell the difference between that and like
That's
domestic.
fresh meat right there, boy.
Oh, it's fresher. You can't get any fresher than that. He was still moving.
Oh man.
He was like switching, but I mean, oh well.
No, he's not talking about the cooked finished product here. I don't think.
I was.
No.
No.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
talking about after I cooked the meat. After I cut the meat
If
out.
your meat is twitching after you cook it, throw it away. Okay, don't be eating that.
No, when we
Talk
brought it in
about
the
hog
kitchen,
fever
it was
right
like
there.
just little trichinosis, how to kill that stuff real quick. Actually, hog meat, did you know that? Like a bear, they carry trichinosis. It's like a little parasite that gets in the meat, in the muscle.
Really?
And the only way that it, like say your stomach, when you eat the meat, if you eat it raw, like cooking it kills it. But if you eat the meat raw or not cooked enough,
right?
Like you can't eat medium rare.
Yeah.
But your stomach acid busts these little parasite cysts out. It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But that after your stomach acid busts the cyst, that little parasite will get into your bone, or into your muscle.
Oh, muscle.
Into your muscle, and you have like these really bad muscle pains, and like you have fever and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I was listening to a Meat Eater podcast. Steve Ranella had it happen to him, and he was taking like dog wormer.
Really?
Like, dog medicine. Like
that's
to get rid of
crazy.
them. He said you can't get rid of them at all because the cysts will get or the parasites will get in your muscles, and then they'll form a cyst around them. And then once they get in there,
to protect themselves, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. But they don't, like after they're in that cyst, they don't bother you. But he said the only way to get them out is like for something to like eat your meat, like your muscles.
Really?
Like something has to eat your muscles to pass it on, because the stomach acid has to get it. It's the weirdest thing.
That is crazy, though.
I know, but he took wormer to get it out of his stomach and system. But like he said, once it's in your muscles, it's fine. I guess I don't know.
That's wild.
Don't do your own research on this. 'Cause I don't really know. I'm just telling you what I heard.
But did the guy end up getting more cysts than just one? Was it like 10 of them all over his body, or?
So in that podcast, and we'll have a link in the show notes below to this podcast so y'all can listen to it. But so what he did, he shot a bear. And we'll just sum it up the story real quick. He shot a bear, and they go to cook the meat, and it starts raining, so he couldn't get his fire hot enough to cook the meat thoroughly.
Oh.
So they're like, all right, we got to get out of here. It's like lightning or whatever, a storm. They got to get out of there. So they just eat the meat. It's like him, the other guy, and the cameraman, and they just eat a little bite or whatever. They get out of there. Well, they start getting sick, and they call each other up like, hey, y'all feeling bad?
Yeah.
And he's like, they're like, I think they had fever. They're like aches and pains, and they're just like, we feel like crap. Sure enough, they got trichinosis from that bear meat.
Trichinosis.
Yeah. So, but wild hogs carry it too. So you got to cook that hog meat thoroughly.
Well, that's a great tip to know.
I know.
Like, especially, for any of you listeners out there that attempt to go shoot some hogs.
Now, I don't know the statistics on like how many hogs carry it. I don't know if they all carry it or what. But don't let that discourage you. Just cook the meat thoroughly. Just cook it like well done, and I promise you, it's great meat.
Don't let it intimidate you either, though, because there's ticks out there. What are the ticks
and
that?
Triggers and this one actually gets in your body.
The tick that'll mess you up. You can't eat red meats. After this. What? There's a
there's a Lone Star tick.
The Lone Star tick.
Yeah, it carries. I think it's called alpha gal. I think it's what it's called, or alpha something. I think it's alpha gal. But it's a disease that you get from a tick bite, and then if you get that if that tick's carrying it,
yes,
you're allergic to red meats.
It's crazy.
It's the weirdest thing.
Had a client come in from Florida.
Yeah.
Super awesome dude. Great hunter. He came in and we were cooking that night though, and we had red meat. I say red meat. We were cooking crane from the previous hunt, and he said that he couldn't eat it. And I said, well, I'd asked why. I said, if you don't mind me asking, I said why, and he said that he had gotten bit by a tick, and he's allergic to red meat now. So he's a big fisherman, and in Florida they go deep sea fishing. They catch the reds and just pretty much anything out there.
So he's just a fish, and I think you can still eat like chicken. You might be able to eat
you can
pork.
eat chicken.
What about pork? Because pork's like, it's a red meat, but it's still not, it's white, you know?
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain on that. But still,
yeah,
you know, what I was saying back to earlier is just don't let that affect you, you know, and keep you out of the woods from going to chase, you know, your dream bear per se or whatnot. Because, I mean, you've even chased bears before.
I have.
Out in the woods.
Yeah, well, it's not just chasing bears. It's just take the precautions, put the bug spray on, use the Permethrin Spray. It's a great tool. Sawyer, it's a company named Sawyer, and they make this Permethrin spray. And Permethrin's an insecticide, but you treat your clothes with it, and it lasts like 3 or 4 washes. So you just treat it once. You just hang it up on a clothesline, soak your clothes in it, and once like a tick, mosquito, chigger, whatever, like touches your clothing, they die instantly.
That's crazy.
Like I don't know if they die like instantly, but they die. Like
it's like spraying the insect repellent, or I say repellent, my word.
It's not a repellent. It's like actually like an insecticide that kills them. But you treat your clothes with it, so it's a preventative.
Sweet.
It's a great tip.
That's awesome.
I know.
It's just a helpful little tip for all you bear hunters, hog hunters.
Not just bear hunters, anything. The first time I learned it, though, was when I went bear hunting. I treated my clothes because I went to Idaho for a DIY bear hunt, and they said there's a bunch of ticks up there in the woods, so I treated all my clothes with that stuff.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah, and you can actually go to like Tractor Supply or any hardware store, I guess, and you can buy the concentrate of the Permethrin and then mix up your own concoction in like a 5-gallon bucket and then just soak your clothes. It's cheaper that way instead of buying the spray.
Does it stink?
No, there's no odor.
There's no so it's perfect then.
Perfect for deer
any
hunting,
type of hunting.
Yep, nothing's gonna smell you. They might smell your odor, but they're not gonna smell the Permethrin spray.
Okay,
It's odorless.
Because I really feel like early September for any of the elk hunters out there that are listening to this would be a great idea
for sure
for them to soak their clothes before they go out there in the mountains and hunt. Now it is cooler though, depending on where you're hunting.
Yep.
I know New Mexico tends to stay a little hotter, but you get up there in the mountains, you know, it starts. Temperatures,
especially at night, it cools down.
Start dropping a little bit.
But the ticks, they use it. Even though it's cold out, they're in those areas. They're kind of adaptive. How do you say that? But I mean, once it gets real cold, they go into hiding or they die off, whatever they do. But yeah, it's a great, if you're hunting early season, use that Permethrin, use your thermocell, take your thermocell along. But when you're scouting in the summertime, going scouting for big bucks, big hogs, big elk, use the stuff, take the precautions, and it would suck to be a hunter and get the alpha gale or whatever it's called and be allergic to red meat.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the main goals. You're out there hunting to try to, you're trying to get your big buck or whatever, but you're also you want that big or that trophy venison meat.
There it is.
For your cooler and your family. Feed your family.
But speaking of parasites and insects and things of this nature, since we're on the subject, I want to go ahead and discuss rice breast. I'm sure a ton of hunters out there have experienced this over the last couple seasons, maybe last season, maybe the season before. If you hunt ducks and you've been hunting for a while, you've probably experienced it.
I've seen it. I don't really know much about it, but I've just seen... I know it's a parasite that gets in their breasts, but I don't know much about it. And I know you being in you guided duck waterfowls. You guided waterfowl hunts for a while, so I'm sure you've seen it quite a bit. And I know you have to explain it to your clients and stuff, like what this is. And do y'all? I know you can cook it out. They say it's fine to cook out, but do you want to risk that, or do you just disgust you?
We recommend especially if clients, and typically clients will come around while we're cleaning at the cleaning table. They'll come and either try to help us, tell us what they want. We have some clients that want the gizzards out of the stinking geese. You know, they want it all.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about the little thigh meat on the left. They want everything.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all about trying different things, and you might grow up just getting the breast out, like duck meat, just getting the breasts or whatever. But you still got those little thighs, and there's not a lot of meat on them, but there's certain recipes that you can do to make that little bit of meat to go a little farther. You know, like you could put in a crock pot, and make like some pulled duck tacos or something, and those little thighs on the ducks and the turkeys and the cranes and the geese, they got a lot of tendons in them, so you have to slow cook them, but they still taste great.
Man, like I said, I'd highly recommend if you do cut up a duck and it has rice breast and you see those parasites in it, what it looks like little mini worms.
Yeah.
Not ringworms, they're straight.
Yeah. I've seen them.
They just look nasty.
I know.
We'll cut the meat up and we'll just throw it away.
I've also seen duck breast with not rice breast, but like little worms just right underneath the skin. Like you pull back the skin that holds the feathers on and stuff, and then right underneath that, there's these little. They're not like they almost look like a ringworm, like a little small worm, but they're not they're not full rice breast. Is that the same parasite or is that a different parasite?
It's probably the same one. And I just went ahead and I got out my phone real quick while we're discussing this, and I'm reading a form. I honestly thought I would get the actual definition so I can tell the audience, kind of more about it, specific terms, etc. But it says this is just a dude. It says 80 proof is this guy's name. Imagine that, yeah. He says
80 proof, you're listening to this podcast. We're hitting you up right now.
There it is. But it says, for the past 4 to 5 months, I've noticed pain in my right thumb. He said, I chalked it up to B. arthritis due to an extension history, even though I'm relatively young at 25 years old. He said, although the pain continued to get worse, then slowly but surely I lost the use of my right thumb. Then it began swelling, and I figured I would go see a doctor. He said, I put it off for way too long, but I know a lot of the guys hate going to see the doctor, and I'm one of those people.
Yep,
he said, after being seen and referred to a specialist, I was sent to for an MRI, and after reading the MRI, the doc said it was just a tumor, and a simple surgical procedure would fix me up, and you'd be good as new. This joker ended up getting rice breast in his thumb from ducks.
What?
And actually he got infected. I'm still trying to read it.
So that's interesting.
He said, so last Wednesday I went under the knife, and after waking up from from surgery, the doctor was asking a bunch of really odd questions. Intentionally, he told me this was some form of infection that he had never seen before, and that my thumb was full of something that resembled grains of white rice.
That's weird.
He said, at the end of the form, he just said, be careful when cleaning your ducks and wash your hands afterwards. Looks like the ducks got me this time, and my buddies are now referring to me as such lovely names as Uncle Ben and White Rice. So, just be sure to wash your hands and make sure you cook the meat good.
Yeah, I wonder if he had like a cut or something in his hand that he got it in.
But see, when you're out there, some people just go ahead and take the precaution of putting on plastic gloves or wearing gloves. But when you're cutting, it takes away. It's just like the big grip for golf. I know I'm kind of going a little rabbit hole, but just listen.
Yeah,
you have the big grip, right? Mm-hmm. It takes your hands out of it.
Oh, I know.
So it allows that club, to just make complete good.
I understand. Like with the gloves, make you feel like you can't feel what you're doing.
Right. You'll end up cutting your hand, or you'll end up, your glove will get in the way of your knife. Mm-hmm. And I just don't use them.
I don't either.
But you always cut your hand. If you're working with your hands like that, being a guide, you're scratching them in the cold.
Yeah.
They're cracked.
Oh, definitely.
So it's just kind of, makes you think. Just be sure to wash your hands,
And I'm a man, so I work with my hands all the time.
Oh, I know.
I got little cuts and nicks on my hands, but I should probably take more precaution, and I don't. I clean hogs and deer all the time with no gloves.
Exactly.
But
never think anything of it.
I don't, and it's maybe that's one thing I should do: start using gloves just to take the precaution, so I don't get.
Not overthink it though.
Yeah.
You don't want to live in fear, like, oh man, I'm not going to touch.
No, that's not me.
But yeah, exactly. I'm just talking to our listeners out there, like, man, I got to be sure to have my. No. Just wash your hands after, and just be smart about it. Don't be dumb.
Definitely be smart about it. Use a sharp knife. A dull knife will hurt you worse.
Hey, another little tip real quick. If you are cutting any type of waterfowl, a lot of guys, man, they'll just bring little pocket knives and thankfully you've had an extra couple of spare little pocket knives, foldable knives.
I always keep an extra knife in my truck or whatever.
So more people can help clean.
Yeah.
Let them get their hands dirty too.
I actually keep a knife in my blind bag with me at all times.
I do as well. A little bitty one.
Yep.
But you can get a fillet knife,
and
that fillet knife is typically used for fish.
Yep.
And it is by far the best type of knife to use on any type of waterfowl, especially if you're like a goose hunter. Mm-hmm. Those breasts are a little bigger, crane, same thing.
Yep.
But it allows you to get that knife way, way further up than the little bitty knife.
Yeah, that knife, you can get way up in that breast where the meat just kind of curls around the breastbone, but it's bendable, so you can fillet off that breast meat and not waste any.
And then if you go to cut any of the silver skin off of your cranes,
Oh, yeah.
you
Just
know,
flay it
as soon as you're done cutting the single breast left or right out, you take it, you turn it over, you slap your hand on it, and you cut right next to that table, and it just takes the silver skin right off.
I'm glad you said that because deer season's coming up, waterfowl season's coming up, and a lot of people are going to be hunting, but nobody talks about preparing for their meat, like preparing for their game, and like after the shot. I use a flay knife every time I go to process my deer meat. Like I go flay off all the silver skin, all the sinew. I use it I just love a flay knife it's just multi-purpose. And sometimes I even skin a deer with a flay knife.
Oh, but do you...
It's a kind of a pain getting around, but it works great.
Right. But do you take the silver skin off before you actually put it in the cooler? Or
yeah. Well, no, I just
on ice.
Okay, yeah. No.
Because it's a 10-day time period.
Yeah,
or you
definitely.
said it's like a 7-day time period where you like to soak it and let the water drain and then refill the ice.
Yeah.
But do you take the silver skin off before you throw it in the cooler or after?
So, I actually, when I take the meat off, depending on the time, most of the time I just take it all off the deer because it's usually early in season or maybe it might be late season. I don't know. But usually I take their meat off, throw it in the cooler, and then I let it sit in the cooler, and I don't remove the silver skin until I get it in the kitchen.
Perfect.
So what I do, I put my deer meat, hog meat, whatever in a cooler, and I change the ice out over like 7 to 10 days.
Right.
And it's like a wet age pretty much. Tenderizes the meat, get the blood out, makes the gamey go away. I don't see the gamey in anything, but if you do have that gamey flavor, it's the blood, it's the adrenaline going through that meat.
I feel like hogs are way worse than deer on that.
Dude, surprisingly, take a big hog that's been running and rutting and stuff, yeah, they smell. But the hog meat has no smell to it, in my opinion.
It's crazy.
In my experience. But yeah, that's what I do. And then after that 7 to 10 days is up, I bring it in the kitchen, and then I start removing the silver skin, removing the extra fat, whatever I miss, getting the hair off. And then I try to get it as clean as possible for the freezer. So when I get it out of the freezer, ready to cook, there's no trimming, nothing, just ready to go.
Ready to go. And taking that silver skin off for all that you really that don't know anything about the silver skin, it's just it's a lining. Yeah, it's like almost like a tendony feel to it. It's just a little stronger than the actual meat itself.
Yeah, Indians used to back their bows with it.
That's crazy.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called sinew. Like silver skin, it's called sinew. It's like a connective tissue, and it connects the muscles to to the bone structure and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, Indians used to back their bows, and what backing is, like you say, you build your bow with wood, but on certain types of wood, the back of the bow, like what faces away from you, that's where all your tension is. So when they put that sinew on there, it dries hard, and it's like super springy. So you get a stronger bow, pretty much.
More durable bow.
More durable.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's a fun little fact.
I know. I've been building. I've been building bows a little bit, and that's one of my. Once I get some bows going, they start shooting really good. That's one of my things. I want to save some sinew and try to back a bow with sinew.
I'm gonna have to bring back some crane with some silver skin on it. We'll take them off, boy.
That would take a bunch of cranes to do.
Hey, crane. Okay,
but that would be cool.
People don't
backed with crane or goose sinew. That'd be a lot of cranes to save up.
Well, we can start in September here in Texas. Northeast Texas, because in West Texas there's not an early goose season, unfortunately. But here in Northeast Texas there is. We can start with that. Accumulate a ton of silver skin, sinew. That's a neat word too. I didn't even know it was called that.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could do it the same way with ducks because it's a little piece, but like on a whitetail, the back strip's real long, so you get real long pieces of sinew. So you lay it on a longer surface area. So I don't know if the small pieces work. Now you could probably like overlap it, kind of like
that would be cool.
Kind of like a checkered pattern, like a what do you call those? Peach cobbler, you overlay them. You could probably lay it in there, apple pie, whatever. But I mean, that might be something. It might make it like 80 pounds, and you can't pull the sucker back. Shoot through everything with them high FOC arrows.
High FOC. You got your bow press. You got everything. You got all the bells and whistles now. You're golden. I'm golden too. If I have any issues with my bow, first person I'm taking it to.
Yep.
Nelson Cobb.
Well, might as well. I've got all the stuff, and there's no lead time. You don't have to go wait for the guy down the road to. Oh, we'll get to it here in a couple of weeks. Now, nothing wrong with the bow shops. I mean, they are the experts. They do it every day. That's their job. But when you do need to make a minor adjustment, it's super nice to have the bow press, the arrow saw, the fletching jig. Say you shoot one of your fletchings off, and you don't want to go take it to the bow shop, drive 30 minutes or however far you are from them. You could just slap a new fletching on it, and you're good to go.
And it doesn't take too long to learn, but when you're
No.
going to learn is doing it by yourself. And
100%.
You're not only going to learn typically about what you're doing, but you're going to
Yep.
go more in depth about the topic that you're trying to figure
Yeah.
out.
For sure.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Learn your equipment and get ready for season, because season will be here before you know it, guys.
Crazy.
I'm
Get them
telling you.
bows tuned in. Get
2
the
months.
shotguns out of the skeet range because
sir.
we're about to be game time.
We got dove season up next month.
We got
Dude,
dove,
it's
teal,
coming in
and
quick.
geese
Woo,
all
boy.
together. We might need to do like a banger hunt to where we do
We
all
need to do a
three.
skeet shoot.
Young Life skeet shoot coming up.
Yeah, we need to get
ready.
on that. That's a fun one. It's like a trap. What do they call it? Sporting clays. That's what they call it. So they have like set up across a big old pasture and like through the woods.
I beat
It's a
Nelson
fun-
by one last year.
Yeah, but I got the new shotgun. I'm not saying the shotgun matters. It's all about the shooter.
Man. No, me and Nelson, we shot for 2 different teams last year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was cool getting to compete and shoot next to him.
Maybe
And
I'll get my company to sponsor a team this year, and we can all
That'd be sweet.
jump on it. Have a little team.
your brother, all y'all shot really good that day too.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't miss a whole lot.
But I like that tournament, that little skeet shoot. Yeah, it's for a good cause for the Young Life, and the
Yeah.
Young Life.
I'm sure there's tons of Young Life followers out there that are listening.
Oh, for sure. I think Young Life's like a whole big thing. But it's a fun deal. It's kind of on your own terms. Like you just ride around. In this place, you ride around your own mule. Like
Yep.
you bring your own side by side out, your 4-wheeler, and then you go up to a station, your team, and then you just go from station to station. There's not like a lot of people watching you. Pressure. You're shooting with your team and one other team, and it's just a good time.
That right there though, because we stood in hula hoops.
Yeah, that's
I'm
like
pretty
your-
sure.
Yeah, there's actually like a station, like a professional station setup thing, and then a hula hoop for the second shooter.
For the second shooter.
And it's just a perfect setup.
But that's when the blood starts really flowing, and when you get up there to shoot, you're like, all right, because
Yeah.
you watch it, the group before you. If you get there in the nick of time,
I know.
sometimes you get there and you ain't seeing nothing, so
Yeah.
you have to throw a bird or two, to make you feel a little more confident. But when you get up there, man, it's a different ball game when
It is.
you're doing the do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you're shooting your deer, I had this guy. He said, I asked him, got my hair cut there at the barber shop. He came
right.
in, dude killed a 160-inch deer about 6 years ago.
Wow.
I asked
That's
him
a
if
good
he
one.
had. I'd ask him if he killed anything bigger or around the same size, and he said, "Man, I just hadn't at the time."
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, when I get done, I'll show you the picture of the deer that I didn't get the chance to shoot, but I wanted to."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, man, why didn't you shoot it?"
I didn't have the time.
I was like, "You sorry, Joker? Like I did try to shoot it.
Yeah.
Like this, I had this huge deer, 18 and a half at least minimum. I showed you pictures of it.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
saw
super
it.
super big, but I feel like it's at that 5-year mark, so it's just going to start declining in antler growth and that size.
Well, we never know. He might get a lot of nutrition
Hopefully,
and he might just pack on some mass. It's crazy what they can do. Like the older they get, sometimes they start going downhill, but sometimes they just blow up. They're completely looking different deer.
man, I really hope that deer comes back. But I was like, "Yeah, you sorry, Joker?" I was like, "I couldn't shoot him. I tried." Sitting there, I threw my binos up on him as he was coming in, and then once he got a little closer, I tucked my binos away in my chest pouch there.
Yeah.
Dude, I shook so bad and so hard. My binos were rattling in my chest pouch, and the deer heard it and left. I was
Golly.
like, you talk about a terrible feeling right
Oh,
there.
I imagine.
I wanted to jump on that sucker.
Hey, that's hunting for you.
It is.
Yep.
It is. But get out there, get your bows tuned in. Hey, if you need any help, hit Nelson up. He'll put
Yeah.
it on the bow press. He'll
Yeah,
slap it on there.
leave us a comment on Instagram, or what do you call it? Message on Instagram, or leave us a comment on YouTube.
On all the platforms.
Well, yeah, wherever.
Just hit us up. Let us know.
Hit us up. It don't matter where. We'll find it, and we'll get back to you, hopefully.
Be sure to go ahead and drop a comment too on the craziest thing that you've experienced when you've cut open whatever animal you're cutting open after killing
Yeah.
it. If it's a bear, if it's an elk, a duck, if it's
There's all kinds of
double
different
rice
stuff out there.
breast,
I know.
you know what I'm saying?
And there might be different stuff that we've never even heard of.
That'd be cool.
kind of cool to know. This stuff kind of freaks me out, honestly. I
know.
When I was a kid, I saw some stuff on TV that's called Monsters Inside Me, and it like freaked me out for the rest of my whole life. So.
He's not the same.
But anyways, yeah, y'all get prepared. Season will be here before you know it. Next month, dove season. It's a good time. Be out there in the field shooting some birds. Crane, not crane. What do you call it? Goose and
Yep. Geesers, dark geese, Canadians.
Canadians. And
Canada.
teal season's coming up. And then some places, elk season's starting September.
Mm-hmm.
Elk season, or I think some mule deer places right now are velvet mule deer, like early season.
The pronghorns are earlier too in the year too.
Yeah, pronghorn. I think I think you can go early season, and there's like, I don't know. I'm not.
That is a goal of mine, though. And
Rance is going this year.
I have a buddy of mine that actually does guided hunts.
Yep.
In Texas and in New Mexico, and the seasons are split different. I think it's earlier in New Mexico and later in Texas, or vice versa. I apologize that I don't know. But I really would like to get on a pronghorn hunt. I think it'd be crazy cool.
Yeah, it would.
The antlers, though, are so crazy. Like,
I know.
Do you know how they're made, or like what they're made of?
They're actually made of like hair.
It's crazy.
But it's they're the only antelope, or I think I don't know if they're a goat species or an antelope species, but they're the only antelope that sheds their horns.
It's crazy.
It's the craziest thing.
And you talk.
I heard they're really good eating too. Like they're one of the best.
It's crazy. But you talk about even so like a 160-inch deer, right? You just know that it's a common term. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think they go. It's like as small as like 19 inches, or you know what I'm saying?
It's totally different score.
Weird. Yeah, the score and
the bigger the hooks, the more they got these little ivory tips. I don't know if it's real ivory, but the little white tips,
little
on the
kickers.
Back. Well, no, on the ends of the horns, not the kickers at the front, but the ones that curl backwards.
Yeah.
Like the older the buck and stuff, they have a white tip, and the bigger the white tip, the better, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how they score them.
I want a shoulder mount though. I want to shoot me a nice one and get it shoulder mounted.
I just want to eat the sucker. I heard they're
hey,
really
we could
good.
eat that on your new Traeger grill.
I know.
Dude, I'm so pumped up about that. Talk about dove hunt. We're bringing that sucker out there.
Heck yeah, we'll bring in the field with this. Once some dove gets shot, we'll slap them on the Traeger. It'll be eating good.
All right. Hey, well, all you listeners, get to work.
Yep. We're going
to go have a good day.
Yeah, y'all have a good day. We're about to go hit the gym, get a little pump in.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you tune in. Leave us a review on iTunes. Subscribe.
We're pulling 100 pounds this season, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. We'll catch you on the next one.
Appreciate it.